No Lies is a song that has one or two things about it that take me out of the enjoyment I have for this song, but that being said, I do find myself enjoying this track a lot. The beat is awesome, it's maxed out with positive energy, giving us something I think I could honestly dance my ass off to. The chorus I personally find to be very infectious, but for non-Ugly God fans, I think I can say with some confidence that you'll find this decently passable. In terms of verses, Ugly God delivers lyrics that while catchy and surprisingly not offensive, for an Ugly God verse, he also gives us what is essentially the same as repeating the damn title. Don't tell me no lies. Uh, but without going into too much detail, I think it's overall serviceable. That being said, Wiz Khalifa. First, actually, can I say I'm honestly surprised he's here? Because Ugly God has always had a thing of pointing out that he doesn't fuck with drugs, and has always had a strong opinion of rappers that use and rap about drugs. Go look it up. He's very open about it. So it's very strange to me to see that Wiz Khalifa, one of Cannabis's poster boys, who has not only made one but two songs explicitly about the substance, not to mention countless other lyrics in his songs referencing it. And also not to mention the fact that he has very obviously gone on stage or done an interview while completely baked out of his mind. I won't deny that Ugly God has worked with other rappers that use substances, some actually very harmful, but again, it's one of the people in the rap community very tightly associated with cannabis, so no matter how okay he sounds, I'll always irritatingly remember in the back of my mind that this guy is working with a guy who specifically targeted the group of people that Wiz Khalifa is obviously a part of. That being said, Wiz Khalifa actually does okay on this track. Now, it's not a knockout performance or anything. In fact, closer listens allow me to identify it as subpar. I mean, he's not on topic. He doesn't really have anything to say except, the usual lines about being rich, having sex with explicitly your girlfriend, and, of course, being the best. See what I mean by not on topic? The song is called No Lies, Khalifa. Everyone knows you're not even in the same ballpark as the best. But for once, this is a song I can excuse for not really having anything clever or outstanding to say, simply because it sounds awesome. The delivery from both rappers is perfect for a beat so hype-inducing, and it doesn't commit the sin of being passable, but then delivering a horrible message. And that's enough to make me look forward to hearing this again. If you can remember earlier, I mentioned that there were two songs that I felt shouldn't be on here, but if I had to pick one to be on here between the two, this is the song I would suggest that stays. And truly, the only real issue, or rather nitpick, I have with this song is that it did come out, in my opinion, a little too long ago to have a spot on this album. To me, this song, when it did come out, was just a song to get people interested in this new up-and-coming Ugly God persona. I definitely don't feel like just because it was a song that had come out months ago that I don't think that that's really advertising for this album, and I really don't feel like it earned a spot on this album. But with those feelings I have aside, how does it hold up otherwise? Now, I suppose the first thing to address is the offensive nature of this track, and the fact that it's not only called bitch, but also that it uses the word an overabundance of 75 times, or over 80 if you count ad-libs. Good God, I can totally understand why this might be ear vomit. I get it. But please attempt to hear me out here. If you can get past the chorus, which is just a barrage of bitches, then you may find that both verses aren't exactly the vulgar circus act you might initially have thought it was going to be at first listen. And once that's realized, you also have a chance of noticing that some of these lines are pretty funny, because the whole song is like an inverted bragging song. Again, Ugly God style in a nutshell. For instance, boy I'm broke as fuck, 30 bands straight from FAFSA, ho give me some space, no I ain't talking about no NASA. Get it? Because he dropped out of college and has debts to pay. No rapper ever admits to being broke or in financial trouble. Then he says, get away from me, ho. Rappers are usually always trying to get to girls, or get with girls, or be around girls. You may, retort by saying not every rapper is about the chasing women lifestyle, but I think the idea here is that the really popular ones do, or the ones that get the most mainstream attention do. It might sound corny to some, downright dumb to others, but I think everyone should acknowledge that some of these lines are funny, or at the very least do show signs of a clever persona trying to get out and do more. I'm going to be brief with this one. I don't like this song. I don't think it's very clever. I don't think it's very funny, and it's definitely not focused. The beat is okay, but just okay, and the lyrics don't stand out very well here. The only thing this song abundantly is forgettable. And the second verse, I swear to God, is so annoying with Ugly God singing. I mean, it was funny in I'm a Nasty Hoe because that's the mood it was going for. Here, there's no reason for it. And other than that, this track is just so unforgivably lackluster that I have literally nothing else to say except skip this song. Every time I listen to Like a Maverick, I develop more appreciation for it. It's one of the few times you'll hear Ugly God focus so much more intently on his flow. Now, his flow is already good, but here it is not so much about saying something stupid or crazy as much as it is flexing a little, for lack of a better term. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. Every rapper, I think, feels the need to flex a bit, and with Ugly God, it's very understandable. He's perceived as a one-hit wonder that only makes songs about licking toes and shit, and when in reality, he has a little bit more to offer. And he really shines here. Now, it's not Eminem level of wordplay, but for what it is, I think it's a little above average. I definitely recommend this song for people that are sketchy about giving Ugly God a chance, or people that think he doesn't have any talent beyond talking about his penis in various formats. So finally, we're at the end song. This is the song I've been looking forward to talking about the most. And as most of you probably know, this is the rapper's most popular song. It was number 100 on the Billboard Top 100. The music video has over 34 million views on YouTube, and the SoundCloud for it has over 96 million plays at the time of this review. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I don't get why. Yes, it was one of his first singles. Yes, it still has hints of the Ugly God style. But oh my god, this is an overwhelmingly popular song. It has more views and plays than most of his songs combined. And as far as I can tell, it's no different than his other songs. It's generic Ugly God banter. The only thing that stands out is the strange fascination with water. What does it mean in the context of the song? Well, as it turns out, Ugly God has revealed that water is meant to be just like sauce or juice, and how rappers utilize those words to mean I got power or money of some sort, Calling it water is just an attempt to make it unique to his own. And thankfully he does, but my main issues are that, one, the song doesn't go to the same level as Bitch did. There's not as many funny lines, and in truth, I'd even say that I find some of the lines to be annoying, like how halfway into his verse he just ends every line with dyke after he speaks to a girl that says she's a lesbian. This makes no sense. Why is this funny? Upon further research, Ugly God has stated that this was a callback to his earlier days on the internet where he would essentially troll people, especially girls he hit on that said they were lesbians. Now, I get that trolls, they think it's funny to troll people, but to people that hate trolls, it doesn't come off as funny at all. You know what it comes off as? It comes off as just stupid internet trolling. Immature, plain and simple. There is no hysterical consequences to draw from that. But my main hate is that this song is on this album. This song came out well over a year before this project dropped. The only reason I think that they put it here was because, again, it is his highest grossing song. I guess there's some logistics I'm missing or knowledge on the business side of rapping I'm not familiar with, but that seems like a lame and spineless reason. In my opinion, the audience got cheated out of original content, and that pisses me off. Because I, along with so many others, were looking forward to all the new material we were going to get. And the fact that Water, a song that had been out forever, played to death, and often the sole focus in interviews was put on this album, to me as a fan, feels like a slap in the fucking face. God, what can I even say? I want to be disappointed. I want to say this is one of the biggest letdowns an artist has given his audience. I want to say Ugly God has shown the first few signs of losing the appeal that accumulated such a spontaneous fan base. But I can't. And there's a couple reasons why. One, Ugly God himself has even said he wasn't content with the final product. And honestly, I can respect a person that actually acknowledges they didn't do as well as they had hoped or wanted. And that leads me to the second reason. I believe this is something Ugly God genuinely wants to do. I feel he's actually passionate about rap. I don't think he's killing the culture any more than it's already killed itself, and like I've said through most of these songs, I think there are funny lines. I think there are enjoyable tones, and by God, the beats. The beats are the number one thing about this album. Okay, maybe LDC and Stop Smoking Black and Milds aren't that great, but they all pretty much have a killer sound. One thing I've noted about Ugly God is sometimes he's a better producer than he is a lyricist, because a lot of these beats were made by him. And throughout most of the album, you feel what Ugly God is about, so at least that was done well. And overall, if you can tune certain things out, I genuinely think a rap enthusiast will find this an enjoyable listen. Negatively speaking, however, the Booty Tape is not what I call beginner friendly, especially for someone who's not a rap nerd or super familiar with the genre, because Ugly God has the potential to ward off newcomers with his estranging vocals. That's mainly the downfall of this project and Ugly God in general. Mainstream audiences are probably always going to look unfavorably towards someone who raps very unapologetically about very vulgar things and in variously vulgar ways. So for that reason, I can't recommend this to casual listeners looking for someone to become their new favorite rapper, because unless you already like this weird ass shit, you ain't gonna look to Ugly God as the GOAT. Hell, sometimes he even alienates his own fans. I mean, I really like this guy, and I had some mean things to say. Luckily though, this album reaches middle ground for me. Not too awful, but not too good either. And I'll be honest by saying, it barely meets that middle ground. So, just be cautious going into it. Well, that wraps things up here, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully my personal bias didn't get in the way too much, and hopefully you guys like this. If you have your own opinions, or notice something I missed, let me know in the comments below, and have yourselves a good one.